Hi everybody, so today we'll be answering the question, are there benefits to organic fruits and vegetables when compared to their conventional counterparts? To begin, first, what is an organic food? An organic food is primarily used to promote sustainable agriculture. This means they are made to protect the soil, land, and environment. They do not use genetically modified organisms. There is limited pesticide use, which will be a huge focal point during the presentation, and each organic food has a USDA sticker on it, certifying that 95% of the ingredients are organic. So today we will be looking at several studies which will provide the evidence for today's presentation. However, it should be noted that these studies are not 100% conclusive and much more research needs to be conducted before any delineate conclusions can be made. The first study we will be looking at is the Norwegian mother and child cohort study. This study was conducted on 28,192 pregnant women from 2002 to 2008 in Norway. Women answered a food and health questionnaire about halfway through their pregnancy. Results were most obviously seen in an odds ratio. An odds ratio measures an outcome of an event due to exposure. In this study, organic food consumption was the exposure and preeclampsia was the outcome. An odds ratio below 1 means that the event is less likely to occur, and the opposite is true if it is above 1. Before we interpret the results, we should first discuss what preeclampsia is. Preeclampsia is a medical condition that occurs in the later stages of the pregnancy, usually around the second or third trimester. It is characterized by high blood pressure and protein in the urine, seen in the image provided. It can progress to fluid in the lungs, liver dysfunction, and kidney failure. It can also result in threatening complications for the mother and the baby. If preeclampsia is untreated, seizures can occur, which is eclampsia. The results of the study produce an adjusted odds ratio of 0.79, meaning that the event is less likely to occur. However, this was only seen in organic vegetable consumption. A decrease in preeclampsia was not seen in the organic fruit or grain consumption. The study provides several reasonings behind these results with several possible explanations. The specific lower pesticide exposure is organochlorine pesticides, as they reduce the risk of obesity, where obesity is associated with preeclampsia. Secondary plant metabolites include phenolic acids, which may aid in the gut microbiome being less inflamed. This would lead to a reduced antioxidant status, thus contributing to the reduced risk of preeclampsia. Secondary plant metabolites are chemicals or other substances that plants produce which have been found to have no primary role in plant functions. An example of primary plant functions that we are all familiar with is photosynthesis. However, it should be noted that this study was observational, and since it was a questionnaire, there could be more influences or variables that could have affected the results. The second study that we will be discussing is the intake of fruits and vegetables with low to moderate pesticide residues is positively associated with semen quality parameters in healthy young men. This study was conducted in Rochester, New York, and included 222 men ages 18 to 22 years old. The results that we will be discussing include the semen quality and concentration measures. The main results from this study are gathered in 4 graphs on the right-hand side, where quartile 1, or Q1, are the adults who consumed the least amount of low to moderate pesticides, fruits, or vegetables, and quartile 4 had the greatest amount. The highest quartile consumed greater than or equal to 2.8 servings of low to moderate pesticide residue fruits or vegetables per day, while the lowest quartile had less than 1.1 servings. The main takeaway from this study is that men who consumed low to moderate pesticide fruits and vegetables had a 169% higher sperm count and a 173% higher sperm concentration when compared to men who consumed less than 1.1 servings per day. You can see in graphs A and C when the intake of low to moderate pesticide residue fruits and vegetables is present along the x-axis. The sperm count for both graphs A and C is much greater for quartile 4. From the results of the study, some suggestions have been made onto why this has occurred. However, the results are elusive. The main contributor to the elusiveness of the study is that when high pesticide residue fruits and vegetables are consumed, there is no negative effect seen on sperm count or concentration. The research suggests that some chemicals and compounds, such as xenobiotic chemicals found in pesticides, may disrupt some of the beneficial components in fruits and vegetables. Just a note, xenobiotic chemical is something that does not occur naturally in nature. A daily example of this is artificial sweeteners. Overall, this study showed that organic fruits and vegetables, which contain very low to moderate pesticide residue, can be associated with higher sperm count or concentrations, but the results are not conclusive. The next study that was examined was a systematic review, meaning that several researchers examined several articles and studies collectively and analyzed the results together. The study was neurodevelopmental effects in children associated with exposure to organophosphate pesticides, a systematic review. It should be noted that this is not a meta-analysis, since the 27 articles that were collectively analyzed did not match up in units, variables, or measurements. The main purpose of the study was to study the effects of organophosphate pesticides on neurodevelopment from birth to 18 years old. The articles and research chosen had to be published within the years 2002 to 2012 and had to be in either English or Spanish. Before we discuss the results of the systematic review, we should first discuss what an organophosphate pesticide is. An organophosphate pesticide is a family of pesticides which are used to control and eliminate insects. Organophosphate pesticides are actually banned in many places and on many things. For example, you cannot use organophosphate pesticides in a residential area. Although they are banned on many things, they are not yet banned on fruits and vegetables completely yet. Organophosphate pesticide residues have been found specifically on strawberries, frozen berries, and other grown fruits or vegetables. On the right-hand side is the chemical structure of organophosphate. From the 27 articles studied, 26 of them supported the following results and findings. Poor neurodevelopment, especially during the prenatal exposure, meaning that while in utero, if the fetus was exposed to organophosphate pesticides, poor neurodevelopment may occur. Damage to neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are essential to the development of the brain. A simple definition is that they are used during nerve communication and are found on nerve endings. A decreased intelligence quotient and attention problems may occur. Abnormal reflexes, which occur specifically in neonates. A neonate is a newborn baby who is only about a month or less old. Decreased psychomotor development. Psychomotor development refers to development of physical skills through mental activity. A familiar example of this is hand-eye coordination. It is important to note several ideas before we move on to the last study. First, individuals who live on or near a farm are at high risk if the farm they live by uses organophosphate pesticides. And from the results of the study, it is suggested that there should be further protection from these organophosphate pesticides because of the detrimental effects they can pose on infants or young children. The last study that I had researched was more psychologically based, and it is Eat Organic, Feel Good, the relationship between organic food consumption, health concern, and subjective well-being. Subjective well-being refers to how an individual would report their own well-being, which is usually done through questionnaires and relates to the quality of life, judgments, and emotions. The article used an online survey and an experimental study to arrive at a conclusion. The graph on the right represents the main findings from the study, with organic food consumption being linked to health concern, health diet beliefs, and subjective well-being. From the experimental study, a hypothesized label effect was produced. The label effect is very similar to placebo effect, where the label of USDA organic would have more effect over the actual organic food itself in terms of subjective well-being. The strongest increase of subjective well-being was seen in health-concerned individuals. To wrap things up, the consumption of organic fruits and vegetables can lead to decreased risk of preeclampsia, a higher sperm count and concentration, an increased chance of normal neurodevelopment, and an increased subjective well-being. So to answer the question, do organic fruits and vegetables have benefits over their conventional counterparts? The answer is yes, mainly due to the limited pesticide exposure. However, further research to determine the direct benefits of organic fruits and vegetables on health is needed. These are the sources for the information.